God says, "The woman who turned your person against you is in deep pain, poisoned last night by the very darkness she tried to pour into your life." Chosen one, do not scroll past this. Do not treat this as another message floating through the noise. This found you because heaven has opened a sealed file with your name on it. And what was hidden behind smiles, whispers, and secret conversations is beginning to break into the light. She thought she could twist love into suspicion, turn loyalty into blame, and make your person look at you through a cracked mirror. She thought your silence meant defeat. She thought your tears had no witness. But God saw every night you questioned yourself, every moment you replayed their cold words, every time you wondered why someone you loved started treating you like a stranger. This is not about revenge. This is revelation. The poison was never only in a cup, it was in her envy, her manipulation, her hunger to occupy a place that was never assigned to her. And now that poison has returned to its source. Luke 8:17 says, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed." And chosen one, that word is standing over your life right now. The curtain is moving. The storm is turning. The throne of truth has issued a sound that no liar can silence. Before this message ends, one final secret will be revealed. Why God allowed you to remain quiet while they misunderstood you, and why your restoration had to arrive after the betrayal, not before it. Listen closely, because your destiny is not collapsing, it is accelerating. The divine door is not closed, it is opening with authority. What tried to bury you is becoming the ground beneath your rise. If your spirit already feels this warning, comment 777, God is revealing the truth. Like this message if you know heaven is speaking directly to your situation. Subscribe, because this channel is not for random ears. It is for the ones God keeps calling out of darkness and into purpose. Share this with one soul who needs to know that betrayal is not the end of their story. But before you understand her pain, you must understand what she secretly did to your heart. She did not steal your person in a single dramatic moment. She did not walk into your life with a sword in her hand where everyone could see the attack. No, chosen one. She moved like smoke under a closed door, quiet enough to be ignored, poisonous enough to change the air. That is why the wound confused you so deeply. You could feel something shifting, but you could not name it. You could sense the distance growing, but you could not prove where it began. One day, the voice that used to soften for you became colder. One day, the person who once leaned toward your love began leaning away from your truth. One day, your care was treated like pressure, your loyalty like weakness, your questions like accusations, and your pain like drama. You kept searching your own heart, asking, what did I do? Where did I fail? Why am I suddenly being seen as the problem? But the answer was not inside your failure. The answer was inside the hidden conversations you were never allowed to hear. She studied the sacred bond between you and your person. She watched where the trust was tender. She listened for the places where insecurity could enter. Then she began to plant words like seeds in the dark. Not loud words, not obvious words. Words wrapped in concern. Words dressed as advice. Words that sounded gentle enough to pass as wisdom, but carried a hidden blade beneath them. She did not need to shout against you. She only needed to suggest that you were too intense, too emotional, too hard to understand, too much to carry. And slowly, your person began to look at you through a lens she had cracked with her own hands. This is the cruelty of manipulation. It does not always destroy love at once. Sometimes it teaches love to mistrust the very place where it was once safe. There is a C. Lewis-like truth here. Quiet, but piercing. Evil often does not begin by making the soul hate goodness. It begins by making the soul misread goodness until light looks like threat and darkness looks like comfort. That is what happened. She made herself appear helpful while draining the warmth that belonged to you. She turned sympathy into a weapon. She used timing, tone, silence, and suggestion like invisible strings. And while you were trying to love honestly, she was teaching your person how to doubt you privately. God saw it. God saw the false concern. God saw the hidden envy. God saw how she smiled in public while sowing confusion in secret. God saw how you tried to repair what you did not break, how you softened your voice, lowered your expectations, swallowed your pain, and kept hoping the old version of them would return. But listen carefully, what she built was not a kingdom. It was a fragile shelter of lies standing under the weight of divine truth. What she controlled was not destiny. It was only a temporary illusion permitted for a season. The hidden key is already turning. The blueprint is already correcting itself. The storm she created behind your back is beginning to move back toward its source. Your heart was attacked, but your calling was not cancelled. Your love was misrepresented, but your identity was not erased. And the most painful part is this: she was not only trying to damage your relationship, she was trying to make you forget who you were before the wound. You were made to blame yourself for a storm you did not create. And that is why this wound reached so deeply into your spirit. Chosen one, you did not only lose warmth from someone you loved, you lost the ability to trust your own reflection for a season. You replayed conversations until your mind felt exhausted. You searched for the exact moment everything changed. You wondered if one sentence, one mistake, one misunderstood emotion had caused their heart to turn cold. You became gentler, then quieter, then smaller, trying not to disturb a bond that was already being poisoned behind your back. But hear this clearly: heaven never agreed with the accusation placed over your name. God saw the nights when you stared at your phone, waiting for a message that never came. God saw the prayers you whispered with a broken voice. God saw how you tried to carry peace into a place where someone else had already released confusion. You were not weak for crying. You were not foolish for loving. You were not blind for believing the best in someone you trusted. The enemy loves to make pure hearts feel guilty for being pure. Because if he can make you ashamed of your tenderness, he can make you bury one of the gifts God placed inside you. But Isaiah 5:4-17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." And this includes the weapon of false blame, the weapon of twisted stories, the weapon of silence used to make you feel guilty without evidence. Your tears were not wasted. Your confusion was not invisible. Your loneliness was not ignored. While people misread your silence, heaven understood your suffering. While they called you dramatic, God called you wounded. While they treated your love like a burden, God marked it as evidence of a heart that had not yet become bitter. And now the wilderness is beginning to speak. The same place where you felt abandoned is becoming the place where your spiritual armor is being strengthened. The same fire that tried to consume your confidence is refining your discernment. The same darkness that surrounded your story is now being forced to expose what it carried. So answer this in your spirit. Have you ever been blamed for a storm you did not create? Have you ever carried shame that belonged to someone else? If this message is touching the hidden place inside you, comment, "God saw my tears," because He did. And the tears He saw are becoming testimony. But while you were crying in the wilderness, something began to happen inside the camp of the one who betrayed you. The poison has returned. Chosen one. And this is the hour when heaven stops whispering and begins to let the evidence speak. She thought she was building a throne, but she was only stacking dry wood around her own name. She thought every lie she released into your relationship would disappear into the air. But words do not vanish before God. They wait. They gather. They testify. Every false concern, every secret conversation, every soft sentence designed to make your person doubt you has now become a witness in the court of heaven. This is not small. This is not casual. This is not some ordinary falling out between people. This was an attack on a divine bond, an attempt to disturb a destiny, a calculated movement against a soul God had already marked, covered, and called forward. That is why the atmosphere has changed. That is why her peace is breaking. That is why the circle around her no longer feels safe. The same people who once believed her are now hearing a strange sound inside their conscience. The same mouths that repeated her version are becoming quiet. The same eyes that looked at you with suspicion are beginning to look at her with fear. Because something in the story is cracking. And once truth begins to crack a lie, no human hand can seal it again. God says, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." Galatians 6:7. And now the harvest has entered her house, not because you cursed her, not because you wished destruction over her, not because your tears became revenge. No, this is divine balance. This is the sacred law of sowing and reaping. This is what happens when someone keeps pouring darkness into another person's cup and forgets that heaven sees the hand holding the bottle. The pain she feels now is deeper than embarrassment. It is the terror of losing control. It is the shaking of a false kingdom. It is the sound of hidden things rising from the floorboards. Messages she thought were buried are beginning to breathe. Stories she polished are beginning to contradict themselves. People she manipulated are beginning to compare what they were told with what they actually saw. Her smile is still trying to perform, but the performance has lost its power. Her voice is still trying to persuade, but the anointing of deception has been broken. The fire she lit for you has turned into a furnace around her own pride. The storm she sent toward your name has curved back toward the house where it began. Chosen one, understand the seriousness of this moment when heaven exposes someone. It is not gossip. It is judgment with purpose. It is not noise. It is a sacred correction. It is not cruelty. It is protection for the innocent. She touched what God was healing. She mocked what God was building. She tried to rewrite a blueprint that was never placed in her hands. And now the divine door she tried to close on you is opening with force, while the door she used to hide behind is being pulled off its hinges. Do you feel the shift? Do you feel how the weight is moving off your chest? As if something invisible has finally been named. If your spirit knows that God is correcting what people tried to cover, comment. Divine balance is moving, but her downfall is not the deepest part of this message. The deeper part is what is awakening inside the person who walked away from you. At first, they will not call it regret. They will call it a strange heaviness. They will call it a restless night, a sudden memory, a silence in the room that feels too personal to ignore. They may sit somewhere ordinary, holding their phone, hearing a laugh that sounds almost like yours, passing a place where you once stood beside them, and something inside them will shift before their mind can explain it. This is how awakening begins, not with a public confession, not with a dramatic return, not with perfect words wrapped in apology. It begins in the quiet places where the soul can no longer outrun what it knows. Your person is starting to remember you without the filter of her voice. They are remembering the way you stayed when staying was not easy, the way you noticed small things no one else cared to notice, the way your presence brought warmth into corners of their life they had learned to keep cold. And it will trouble them, because memory has a way of becoming a mirror. What once felt like distance will begin to feel like loss. What once felt justified will begin to feel strangely cruel. What once sounded reasonable from her mouth will begin to sound hollow inside their own heart. They may not speak yet, but do not mistake their silence for peace. There is a storm moving through them now. Not the storm of confusion she created, but the storm of recognition. A hidden key has turned somewhere deep within their spirit, and doors they tried to lock are opening from the inside. They are beginning to see that the love they were taught to distrust was the very love that protected them. They are beginning to feel the absence they pretended did not matter. They are beginning to understand that not every voice that comforts you is sent by God, and not every person who warns you is telling the truth. Chosen one, this is where your strength must rise higher than your longing, because when they remember you, you must not forget what it cost you to survive their forgetting. When they ache, you must not rush to bandage the wound they created in you. When they search for words, you must not shrink your healing just to make their return easier. God can awaken them, but you are not required to become the same version of yourself they abandoned. Your heart has passed through fire. Your spirit has walked through wilderness. Your love has been tested in a furnace that burned away weakness, illusion, and desperate attachment. So if they come back, they will not meet the person they left behind. They will meet someone steadier, someone clearer, someone whose crown was forged in absence, someone who learned that peace is not the same as having people stay, and love is not the same as letting anyone mishandle your soul. Still, do not harden yourself. Let the truth arrive without forcing the door. Let conviction do what pressure could never do. Let God move where your pleading once exhausted you. Their memories are returning. But the greater miracle is this: your power is returning too. And when they finally remember who you were, they will also remember what they allowed to be stolen. Do not chase what God is already confronting. Do not beg for a seat in a heart that allowed another voice to push you outside the door. Do not explain your purity to people who became comfortable misunderstanding you. Chosen one, this is the command of this hour: be still. But do not confuse stillness with weakness. Your silence is not surrender. Your silence is spiritual armor. It is the iron gate around a kingdom heaven is rebuilding inside you. There was a season when you thought one more message might fix it. One more explanation might soften them. One more honest confession might make them see that you were never the enemy. But God says, enough. You cannot heal a blindness that someone chose to protect. You cannot keep pouring your soul into a cup that another person keeps poisoning with suspicion. You cannot keep standing outside a locked door when God is opening a higher one behind you. Psalm 4:610 says, "Be still, and know that I am God." That is not a passive command, it is a royal instruction. It means stop wrestling with shadows. Stop dragging your dignity into rooms where your spirit is not honored. Stop letting panic make decisions that your healed self will later have to recover from. Heaven is not asking you to disappear. Heaven is asking you to stand in position. There is a difference. When you chase, you step out of alignment. When you beg, you forget your crown. When you over-explain, you hand your peace to people who have already proven they do not know how to protect it. But when you stand still before God, the divine court begins to move on your behalf. Witnesses rise. Hidden motives surface. Buried conversations return with weight. The truth that your mouth could not force begins to defend itself with authority. Lewis once wrote that pain insists upon being attended to. And this pain, the one you carried in silence, was not ignored by God. It became the altar where heaven began teaching you discernment. You thought the ache was only breaking you, but it was also sharpening you. You thought the delay meant abandonment, but it was divine timing preparing a restoration no lie could cancel. So breathe. Pull your hands back from what keeps cutting them. Let your heart stop auditioning for love that should have recognized you without a campaign. You are not being called to coldness. You are being called to consecration. You can forgive without crawling back. You can love without losing yourself. You can pray for them without reopening the door they used to wound you. This is the sacred boundary of the chosen one, a heart soft enough to obey God, but strong enough not to bow before manipulation. Can you trust God enough to stop explaining yourself? Can you let heaven speak in rooms where your voice was mocked, twisted, or dismissed? If yes, declare this now: I will be still. And God will reveal the truth, because the moment you stop fighting for your name, heaven begins restoring it in conversations you cannot hear. Your name is being restored in conversations you cannot hear, not through noise, not through begging, not through you standing in front of them with trembling hands, trying to prove that your heart was clean. It is happening in quiet rooms, in delayed realizations, in sudden pauses when someone remembers what they ignored. A person who once repeated the wrong version of your story is beginning to question why the details never fully matched. Another who believed the accusation without looking deeper is starting to feel the weight of their own unfairness. Someone who judged you from a distance is now seeing pieces of truth rise like light under a locked door. Chosen one. This is how heaven restores a name. It does not always hand you a microphone. Sometimes it lets the lie collapse under its own weakness. Sometimes it lets time become a witness. Sometimes it allows the people who doubted you to sit alone with the discomfort of what they helped destroy. You may not see every conversation. You may not hear every confession. You may not receive every apology. But do not mistake hidden restoration for no restoration. God is moving behind the veil. The same places where your name was mishandled are becoming the places where truth begins to breathe again. They are remembering your consistency. They are remembering your patience. They are remembering how you carried love without demanding applause. And slowly, the false image they were given is losing its shape. Darkness can imitate authority for a season, but it cannot hold the throne when light enters the room. Your absence is speaking now. It is speaking louder than your defense ever could. It is making people feel the difference between the peace you brought and the confusion she introduced. It is exposing the gap between what they were told about you and what they actually experienced from you. This is not an accident. This is a sacred reversal. The scroll of truth has been opened, and what was written against you is being challenged by the evidence of your own life. Do not rush to confirm it. Do not run back just because someone finally sees what they should have seen before. Let restoration finish its work. Let their eyes open without your pressure. Let your dignity remain seated while heaven rearranges the room. Your character is not as fragile as their gossip made it seem. Your calling is not as weak as their rejection made you feel. Your future is not under the authority of people who misunderstood your past. The reign of restoration has started. And even if you only feel the first drops, know this: a greater cleansing is coming. But restoration is not only about your name, it is about the future that betrayal tried to delay. The doors are opening again. Chosen one. But this time, they are not opening for the version of you who begged to be understood. They are opening for the version of you who survived the misunderstanding and still did not let darkness own your heart. What betrayal delayed? Heaven did not cancel. What manipulation interrupted? God did not remove from the blueprint. The dream that went quiet was not dead. It was waiting for you to become strong enough to carry it without needing the approval of people who once failed to see you clearly. There were opportunities that seemed to slip away while you were grieving. There were plans you lost the strength to pursue because your spirit was exhausted from carrying accusations you never deserved. There were mornings when you could not even imagine abundance, because all your energy was being spent trying to breathe through confusion. Divine timing has not forgotten your address. The same God who watched you in the wilderness is now leading you toward the gate. The same fire that burned around you is now becoming the light that guides you forward. The same storm that shook your life is now clearing the air for a season of acceleration. Do you hear that in your spirit? This is not only recovery, this is restoration with authority. You are not simply getting back what was lost. You are being prepared to receive what would have been too heavy for the old version of you. God is not handing you small comfort as compensation for pain. He is opening floodgates. He is releasing divine provision. He is awakening gifts that grief tried to numb. He is placing a hidden key back into your hand, not so you can return to the room where you were wounded, but so you can unlock a higher door, a cleaner door, a door marked with purpose, peace, and sacred assignment. And this is where the spirit of Sender Lewis becomes clear. God does not merely rescue the soul from suffering. He teaches the soul to desire a truer kingdom. The pain did not make you less chosen. It stripped away what was too small to walk with you into the next chapter. It burned away desperate attachment. It exposed false dependence. It taught you that love without truth becomes a prison, and peace without God becomes an illusion. Now the dreams are stirring again. The vision is returning with sharper edges. The confidence you thought you lost is rising from the ashes with spiritual armor on its shoulders. Your voice is coming back, but deeper. Your discernment is coming back, but cleaner. Your joy is coming back, but this time it will not be so easily handed to people who do not know its value. The betrayal tried to freeze your future, but heaven has issued movement. The delay tried to convince you that your season had passed, but God is showing you that the calendar of man does not control the clock of heaven. This is breakthrough. This is abundance after affliction. This is the grand design correcting what human hands tried to damage. So do not look at closed doors with grief anymore. Some doors closed because they were protecting you from rooms too small for your destiny. Some people left because they could not survive the weight of the blessing attached to your life. Some delays happened because God was not only preparing the promise, He was preparing you. Yet before you step fully into this open door, God must warn you about one final danger. Do not let her poison live inside you. Do not become what hurt you. Chosen one. This is the warning that stands at the edge of your restoration. After betrayal, the heart can begin to build walls and call them wisdom. After humiliation, the soul can begin to crave revenge and call it justice. After being misunderstood, the spirit can become sharp, suspicious, and cold. Then mistake that coldness for strength. But God did not bring you through the fire so you could carry the smell of smoke forever. He did not expose the poison so you could drink bitterness in another form. He did not restore your name so you could spend your future proving yourself to people who no longer have authority over your peace. The woman who wounded you was ruled by envy, control, and hidden anger. Do not let her darkness become the language of your next season. Your crown is not protected by hatred. Your throne is not strengthened by resentment. Your victory does not need cruelty to be complete. Forgiveness does not mean pretending nothing happened. It does not mean reopening the door to the same spirit that broke your trust. It does not mean placing your healed heart back into careless hands. Forgiveness means you refuse to let their sin become your prison. It means you release the debt to God without surrendering your discernment. It means your heart remains soft enough to hear heaven, but strong enough to honor the boundary heaven taught you to build. You can forgive and still walk away. You can pray for them and still protect your peace. You can wish healing over their life and still refuse to return to the place where your soul was mishandled. This is not bitterness. This is sacred wisdom. This is spiritual armor. This is the maturity of someone who has learned that love without truth becomes bondage, and mercy without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. So when the apology comes,